Hi, this is Ryan Lawler. I'm here with TechCrunch TV. We're here at CES 2013. Today, I'm here with Mike Lazerow, who's the CMO of Salesforce Marketing Cloud. Is that right?
That's right.
Co-founder of Buddy Media, which was acquired earlier, well, I guess last year. So I guess to start, what's Salesforce doing here? Is it Benioff just want to be on stage, or what's the plan?
Yeah, well, CES 2013, can you believe it? We didn't think this day would ever come, but it's here and we're psyched. And the reason is because it's really not just the Consumer Electronics Show, it's a consumer show. Electronics, it's not just about the hardware, it's about what's flowing through it. It's about the contents, the services, how people interact with it. And Salesforce, as the customer company, this is where our customers are. You look at Ford, the car out there, it's a moving app. You look at a lot of the CPG companies, you look at GE and at Unilever and other companies that have brought big groups here. They're here because consumers are digital citizens. They get up every day, they use their phones, they use their tablets, they use their computers. Everything's connected to the internet, and so every company has to be a tech company. And because our customers are here, we have to show up, and we want to show up.
So how Salesforce actually working with the hardware manufacturers to get on some of these devices and provide data, or is it something completely different for you guys?
So we work across the board. So we work with a lot of big electronics companies, and we work with actually companies that you wouldn't think of as consumer electronic companies, but car companies and make refrigerators and jet airplane engines like GE and train engines and Coca-Cola, really large companies. The technology is at the underpinning of everything that they do. So specifically for Salesforce, we're a mobile-first company. The touch platform that we have can access all of our apps through kind of any device. We have innovated, and Mark Benioff made a bet really years ago that mobile is the way of the future. And if you imagine a professional today tied to a desk, you would think kind of that's 1950s, 1960s, and really we're freeing business people to live their life anywhere, just like consumers are accessing their information anywhere. Okay,
now when you and I first met, years ago, you had about a couple dozen people and like 2 floors and basically like kind of a walk up outside of Columbus Circle. And now you've got hundreds of employees, you're part of Salesforce. How's that changed for you? I mean, what's it like having a boss?
Sure, well,
instead of being the boss.
I think 4 years ago you came to one of the holiday parties or launch parties, and we would just open up the office and we had maybe 10 people and they would come in. And I love those times, but I love where we are right now. I mean, you want to work on stuff that matters. You want to work on stuff that has a big stage. And what happened with our industry is we launched kind of a business thinking that Facebook would be big. Then this thing called Twitter started getting big, and YouTube opened up, and all these sites opened up. And we had to make a decision: do we go at it alone, or do we partner with a company that has kind of distribution resources and a world-class software company? So we proactively made the decision. We'd raised a lot of money, and we'd hired Susan St. Ledger as our president, and Cass and I thought we'd be an independent company. But when we sat down with Mark Benioff and the Salesforce team, it really became apparent to us that our visions were aligned, that you needed to connect with customers in a whole new way. It's not just marketing, it's sales, it's service, it's product development, and marketing, and everything else around the organization. And so we decided to do the deal, and frankly, and I'm completely honest, you've known me for a while, I'm not really a BSer. I've never been busier, I've never been happier. I think I'm working on really important things. We're the #1 social marketing cloud. We're the #1 marketing software in the cloud, for that matter.
Right.
Social marketing, we've been the leader in a while, but we're spearheading this new way of what happens when you have a individual, unique view of a customer across all your channels. What can you do? What happens when they walk into a store? What happens when they visit a website? And all that stuff is powered by the Salesforce Marketing Cloud.
Right. So you mentioned Cass. I want to get back and be a little personal here. You wrote a post a while ago, what it's like sleeping with your co-founder. So as a husband-wife team, how does that work? I mean, you ever get sick of each other? You've been together for 18 hours and you just need to take the next day and a half off?
Well, I don't recommend it. It works really well for us, but I don't say you should do it or you have to do it. For us, it works really well for 2 reasons. One, she's awesome, right? Any entrepreneur who has a partner who is awesome at operations and finance and HR and building teams and building team cultures, which Cass really is, that is a phenomenal thing. And the fact that I focus more on kind of the making money and the raising money and the product development, there's a complete segregation of duties. So we work together, but as we got bigger as a company, we would see each other in the morning. We'd go into work together, and at the end of the day. So it's not like we work together all day. And I just think that if you can't work with people you love, who do you work with? People you don't love or people you hate? Like, do you work with your enemies? Like, it's harder to raise kids with someone than it is to do a business. And we have 3 kids, and we have kind of this shared life. And it just works for us. I can't say why, other than it does.
They're old enough now. I mean, do they ever say, like, Mom, Dad, stop talking about work? Like,
well, the irony of everything is when we get home, both of us don't want to talk about work, right? Like, we want to watch Homeland. We want to kind of hang out with the kids. We want to, just spend time as a family. It's like when you get home from work, when anyone gets home from work, you kind of want to leave it there, right? And I think we're better at leaving it there. Because I would imagine the typical dinner conversation is, hey, honey, to the husband or wife, how was work? It was good, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, and you're reliving your day. When we get home, we're already on the same page in many ways.
Okay, so you made a lot of money through this acquisition, and now you're starting to give it back to the community. So tell me a little bit about your role, like as an investor, what you're looking for, like how you started with that.
Yeah, so there are 2 things that really have been consistent with Cass and me for the last 10 years. It's our 4th company, not the first exit we've had. One is the philanthropy side, so we're very active with Cycle for Survival and Charity Water and Donors Choose and our kids' schools, and that gets us really fired up. That's kind of, as Cass says, it fills our cup. And then the other thing is giving back to the entrepreneurial community. So we've done 27 deals. We love deals. We probably say yes to too many deals. We just like entrepreneurs. We love being around entrepreneurs. We love supporting entrepreneurs. So, our most recent deal was the BuzzFeed deal, which was reported. And, Jonah Peretti is a guy who started Huffington Post. I've been friends with him for years. John Steinberg, who's, running the operations there. And when they approached me with the idea of, investing and advising and being involved, those are the kind of things I like. As an investor, I look at a great team. I look at scaling revenues or users. So are users like coming, even if it's kind of a hidden gem of an app. So users are coming, but they're not churning. You're adding more, people are coming back every day, or revenue's growing. And then the third is I don't lead investments because I'm the worst, at kind of sourcing deals. I'm a journalism major. I don't do so through our network, we co-invest with people we know are good at that. So we bring to the table more of the advisory stuff. What's it like to run a company? We're oftentimes the CEO and COO's kind of confidants. And it's just a great way for us to give back. It's a great way for Salesforce to be in the community. I learn a ton from the investing we do, at which then I kind of funnel into what we're doing in terms of just my outlook with the business. And it's kind of nice not being the one presenting at a board meeting every time. I'm not on any board, so. But as an entrepreneur, even though you don't have a boss, you do. You have investors, you have a board, you're constantly, if you're good, communicating to them, almost as if it's your boss. So I do less time communicating up now that I have a real boss, Brett Queener and Mark Benioff, than I did when I had a board. And Salesforce is, it's a company that operates like a startup. It's fast moving, it's high growth, it's a company that really values innovation and trust and growth and speed, and that's kind of any startup.
So being at the show this year, I don't know if you've come in years past, but is there anything in particular that you're excited about, that you're looking for? Are you going to get a chance to actually walk the floor and check out the new TVs or anything? So
I'm so fired up about this show. It's my 5th year in a row. I remember coming a few years ago, and there's like 150 marketers in a room atop Mandalay Bay, kind of just huddling together as if we're the only marketers here. Now they have, I think there are 4,000 marketers who RSVP'd for the Brand Matters track, which is a advertising track. And so, I get giddy around technology. Personally, I like walking around. I like seeing how the companies are thinking, because basically this is the culmination of a year's worth of kind of thinking and planning for a lot of these companies, and then they have to put their best foot forward. So you see kind of how they're thinking about the world. I'm really high on mobile, not just in terms of phones, but you're connected to your social graph, you're connected to everything you like in the world, everywhere you go, and it follows you.
The internet of all things.
And it's happening. Like, we've talked about it for a while, but you look at Ford opening up an app ecosystem, and GM, I guess, just opened up one today as well. So the idea that you could build an app for a car means that, Salesforce, I guess, if someone calls into the car and they're a hot prospect, it could alert you where everyone else doesn't. So there are all these cool ideas that I come out of CES with, which aren't necessarily consumer electronic hardware ideas, but are basically, how does the internet specifically, because that's what we focus on, but just technology make our lives better? And at the end of the day, what this show is about is, how does this show make our lives better? And what we're about with Salesforce, how do we make you as a customer more successful, more profitable, more efficient, more nimble, more trustworthy? How do we create connected customers for you, connected products? And all of that, we're at the heart of. I've never seen a company, if you came to Dreamforce, people come starving for innovation. Help me reinvent my business. And I think that's the real, now that I've been there for 4 months at Salesforce, that's the real beauty and magic of Salesforce. We can challenge companies and help them innovate.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for being with us, and everybody tune in. Thanks for watching. We're going to be here all week.